looks like in real life, the career development, the career growth, the different career levels, and the realistic expectation, especially when it comes how students and employers see each other, because there is a disconnect, definitely, and we can all agree on that. And I want to start by explaining why this topic very matters to me like so much, because through my work with all of you, I've noticed that career development has become like a very confusing, not because you're doing something wrong, but because there is simply too much information everywhere right now. And in theory, that sounds amazing, right? But in practice, we can feel overwhelming. Sometimes instead of this clarity, it actually creates extra pressure. And instead of giving us like confidence, it goes opposite way and it creates doubts, like you always missing something, you're behind on something. And today, is about helping you to understand how career development works in real job market. And everything that I will be sharing with you is based on real data from US labor market. Everything from employers report, workforce trend, and what companies are currently looking for when they hire students. So even I put it like in the most simple way for you to understand, everything there is based on the data. And actually, before we move forward, I thought about it for a while, and I want to actually set one little thing for today. After this workshop, we're not gonna have a traditional Q&A. Career development is very personal thing, and each of you comes with a very, very different background, different goals, and different circumstances. And instead of rushing those answers and give them to you, I want you to take this information. It's different. Sit with it, reflect on how it connects with your own experience. And sometimes, like the most valuable thing for you, it's not immediate answer, but the space to rethink what you believed before and what you understand now. And then we can talk after the presentation what should be for us the next step. And let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so let's start with what I believe the most important problem in career development today. We all live in the time where almost everything around us looks like it can happen overnight. We see it everywhere on Amazon, on social media, in success stories, startup headlines, podcasts, like you name it. And sometimes it feels like everyone, but not you, becoming successful instantly. And you hear the stories about people becoming founders, CEOs, like letters very early in their careers. Your professors, your friends, like classmates, sometimes like people at the college saying like you can do anything and you can become like anyone like right away. But usually it is the story of a friend of a friend of the friend, but like not very realistic. What is important to understand is like that career development for most people, everyone in this room who works for MDC included, does not work that way. And if you already have a job, a part-time or internship, you probably already feeling it very well, that growth take time. And one of the biggest challenges today is that we're constantly comparing our real day-to-day process to a very compressed version of like someone else's story. Social media very rarely shows the full picture. It takes like years of efforts, trying, learning, mistakes, and compresses them in the few seconds videos or short posts, but it's usually missing the context, like the years of studying, the failed interviews, the job that didn't work out, because that's the case too. The timing was simply not right. The moments when people like almost gave up, but they succeed. And that success can look like it happened overnight. But before that overnight moment, there are years of preparation that no one can see, and usually no one talks much about it. And when we talk about career development, the structure really matters and it's not random. There is usually a time frame involved in each transition, and you cannot skip it, you cannot rush it, replace it with motivation alone. And that is not bad thing. In fact, it's actually will protect you. It will protect you from burnout, from the disappointment, with unrealistic pressure, and actually giving you the time to find where you truly want to move your career. And the moment like you sort of like will understand those career levels and expectations, the general progression, career development becomes less painful. And it's not about the speed, it's about alignment, readiness, timing. And once you get it, the entire process will become clear. And when it's clear, it's manageable. And we can move to the next slide. So if we're gonna talk briefly, like first about the career ladder that usually looks like, and for the most companies, career growth follow under very consistent progression. It might look slightly different depending on the organization and the structure itself, across different industries, but it usually starts with the internship. If we're talking about the field, right? If we're talking specifically like technology field or business field or even like art and culture, marketing, like right, it starts from there. Sometimes it means one internship, sometimes two or more. The main goal at this stage is start building real experience and understand how work actually functions in the professional environment. And we will talk about each stage like more in depth. So after the internship, most people move into a junior role. A junior role depends on how many internships you may have. Sometimes you can jump into middle roles. And again, like we will address this. After that, it's always a senior role. Um, and beyond senior, many companies move into leadership roles, but there will be like a differentiation as well. It's so if you want to master yourself as a senior and go one progression, or you would like to go another one and take like lead, head, and move to the executive. And actually, recently on Instagram, talking about social media, I saw a funny joke when, I don't know, probably you saw that reels as well, when the junior employer was asking their boss why everyone keeps calling him June. And he said, like, I thought a lot about it and I cannot get it. My birthday is actually in September, so maybe someone like need to call me differently. So, but it's perfectly capture what happens when expectations move faster than experience. And maybe not exactly this same what I saw like during like my time here when I hear our internship stories or when employers sharing something it's like close enough to this when people are extremely talented and everything they're just not ready yet to move. Like you need to stay like this time for your internship. But for now, I want you just to see this letter simply as a map. And in the next slides, we will break down these levels one by one and talk about what is actually expected at each stage and what is not. Because what is not is super important as well. And we can move to the next slide where we're going to talk about the internships. And internships are very often are underestimated. And honestly, for a long time, they were really treat it like that way, but I'm very happy that we're seeing a shift back towards recognizing the importance of them, because the internships are not just student jobs, they're the bridge. What you're learning in college and what employers actually expect from you in the workplace, and especially in technology field, it's super important because it's not something you could just like look up in Google or like ChatGPT or any AI and do the job. It's completely like different. So internship, there is where the theory meet the reality. And before you even start an internship, something important needs to happen. It's a mindset shift. You begin moving from thinking like a student, because all of you are thinking right now like a student, but it's good saying like that you start thinking about the internships, because you need to shift to become someone who is workforce ready, because that's a big gap in between these two. So during the internship, just to understand this, you're no longer just learning the concept. That's college. You're learning how an industry actually operates. You start seeing how works get done, because at the classes you can just like work here and there with code or whatever, like it could be for you, but you don't see the full project done, how expectations are communicated at the team, because one thing you're in college and professor is saying you will get a like your grade, and another thing you need to deliver and meet the requirements, and what it really means to function in the professional environment. And at this stage, fundamentals should be already in place. So you're not going to do internship to learn the code. This is like, no, you don't need to be like super professional in it, but basics need to be there. And that basically, if we're translating in our college language, your core classes should be completed and you should understand them well. Internship is not the time to learn those basics. They're time to apply this, what you already learned. Uh, and one of the biggest things employers look for internship level is how well you follow instructions and processes with attention to details. And attention to details at internship show ups everywhere. And like how do they know if I am attentive to detail? Like the great example is your resume. You say, many of you said in the resume that you're like super attentive to details, right? Have like this strong attention, but your resume uses 3 different fonts, inconsistent formatting, has avoidable errors, and that's already communicates a lot to the employer. Fix it. Like AI can help you to fix it like in 3 seconds. Another key expectation is asking questions when something is unclear, and by asking them at the right time, employers do not expect you to know everything, but also not to ask every single thing. They do expect you to try first, to Google first, to use AI first, but then not to like get into too deep research, and like you don't need to solve the problem. You just need to show initiative. And task completion is also very important. Completing tasks on time and as requested build the trust. Even something seems small or following through, it just matters. Completion at work is often more important than perfection at this stage, because we can like actually, if we're talking about the project management, right, and it's going to be part for any internship, every job will be there. In project management, it's not important like the perfection, it's important the completion. A large part of your internship is actually observation. Yes, you're contributing, but you're also watching and learning. You observe how teams communicate with each other, how departments collaborate, how decisions are made, and how people work together under real deadlines and constraints. You also learning the basic norms and professional standards, and When you're doing the internship, you should start asking yourself like questions. What should I complete first? Do I answer emails or finish the task I was assigned? How does my department or unit set the priorities? Who do I communicate like right now and how? Because you will be introduced to the entire team, but it's not necessarily you have to speak with everyone. And this is all part of becoming comfortable in your professional environment. And now it is equally important to also understand what is not, you're not expected as an intern. Interns are not expected to set the strategy for the task, for the unit, for nothing. There is no strategy for you. So forget about it because it's not gonna be look good on you. They're not expected to independently redesign the process. And this is the feedback I heard a lot from the employers when our students, super talented, no questions asked, come in and trying to change the code. This, like, no, like you cannot do it. If the company works with this specific code, you're not expected to change this. Or if they work in certain flow, you don't need to redesign this process. At this stage, you're just following the instruction, even you think it makes perfect sense. Like, no. And they are not expected you to lead the project on your own. Sometimes, like, you want to prove, like, during the internship that you have like this leadership, you want to demonstrate it, you held the leadership role in college, and that experience is valuable, but not during the internship. uh Making like this is sort of like making high level decisions, and maybe they make sense to you, but they actually depends on the company culture and internal processes, and you will not look good as the student when you will try to get into this area. So you sort of like need to understand this is just the internship. And if we're going to talk about like some hard skills for our students for the internship, so let's say, let's break it down a little bit. Software engineers expected to understand like the programming fundamentals, basic data structures, get work with like existing code base, which I already mentioned. Like for cloud, it's obviously familiarity with the cloud concept, basic services, virtual machines, networking
Mm.
fundamentals, IT cybersecurity. You should know operating system, basic networking troubleshooting, security fundamentals, how to follow the protocols and documentations. That's a must to know already. So if you don't know that, jump back to your notes and like try to memorize the most important parts. So like no one gonna explain to you this. For data analytics, employers want you to be comfortable, not like, let's not say not be perfect, but comfortable understanding the spreadsheet, SQL basics, data cleaning, ability to read, interrupt, like, and communicate data on the like most likely professional level. For AI, you do need to like understand at as of today, right? Later it's going to be a little bit different, but as of today, you do need to have like a coding fundamentals. You do need to understand like the basic models, concept, data preparation, and be responsible, let's say this, to use of the tools, not building the system, not building like the bots or whatever, like, but be able to use it. That's the internship level. Um, I think it's good enough for the internship. Let's move on to this next slide and let's talk a little bit about the junior role because that's where I would like to spend a little bit more time in between this. Um,
Yeah, I actually want to add, I think what is not expected yet when you were talking about make high level decisions. I think that is great advice, especially not just for students, but even for people who are, you've been working forever and you're just really experienced in whatever it is that you do. But if you're doing an internship, I think that's just great advice to keep in mind.
Thank you. Let's go. Okay, so June. That's our first job, right? So at this stage, you're officially in the boat. So hear me out one more time. This is no longer the internship. You're officially in the boat. You're no longer trying to get in. You're already part of the team. And by the time you reach your June role, not September, I always gonna make this joke now. You usually you should have a basic understanding of how teams work. You know how communication happens, so there are no longer you can message Juliet and said you receive like that email from like the company leadership and you have no idea how to answer. During the internship, no problem, I help you. During like the if you're already on board, you sort of need to manage this decision. You need to understand how in your unit decisions are made. Like, so you're no longer looking, oh, who do I go to the answer? How long do I need to wait? If you your department or your unit waiting for the decision 6 months, then that's your boat, you deal with it. How the projects move forward, that's another thing. So basically, nothing feels completely foreign to you anymore. And at the junior level, you're expected to already have all of the foundational hard skills. Uh, there is like if you don't have something, you're expected that you know how to get into Coursera, into YouTube, look it up, something, just like get that basic foundation, so the project not gonna be like stop because you don't know something. This is what is expected. At the same time, like mistakes are still normal, they're still expected because you still don't know how the company operates on the different levels, like mid and senior. So no one is looking at the perfection at this stage. You typically work under the guidance of more like experienced colleagues, like again, like seniors, leads, managers, and your main goal is not to try to lead the project yet, but become someone that others can completely rely on you for well-defined tasks. So reability at the June level is like the most important part for you here. Can like the questions like that you're going to be asking yourself, and that's how people will look at you, how employers will look at you. Can people trust you to complete what was assigned? Can they trust you to sit on the meetings and ask questions when something isn't clear? Can they trust you to follow the instructions and meet deadlines for the projects? So for all of these questions, it should be yes, yes, yes. And if there is some no, it's time for you to think, uh, what what should I work on? How should I improve that this reliability will become that no one even question this? In terms of education, this stage usually aligns with near complete education, strong foundational training, and something is important to highlight right now because HR requirements are shifting, which is good because we lived like 20 years ago when the degree in those fields were not important. Then we start living in the era when like without bachelor degree and 3, 4 years of experience, you cannot get a job. So now many June roles like require you can be in your third or fourth years. It's going to be like completely acceptable, but the experience as of today is key here, and we as the workforce department or college who is very focused on hands-on experience working hard on this because most employers still expect from you at least 1 year of internship before your junior role. In many cases, they're looking for a close of this 1 year to move you forward to that role that pays not project based, not like hourly based, but actually that they can give you the benefits. The good thing that you can have like a combined experience, and that means that it can come from internship, project based learning, a combination of like micro internships and real world projects, as long as like the time and relevance are there. We cannot just like, look into couple projects here and there. No, it should be like a consistent year. Let's put it this way. That's why like often I'm telling you, no, remove like your 5 years or 10 years of experience that completely irrelevant, and just like keep couple relevant projects, or go and get like couple internships. You cannot do internships, you can do projects, you can do micro internships, like get yourself to relevant experience. And now also soft skills. So when we're talking about internships and June roles, it's still like the hard skills matters a little bit more, but soft skills also like matters a lot. So attention to details, it's critical, especially in tech. Small mistakes can have bigger like consequences now, and employers like want you to be like, it's better you double check everything before submitting your work. Then the growth mindset is essential. Um, Juniors who or grow well, they're usually open to feedback and willing to learn, and they're not defensive when something needs to be corrected. There is at certain level, you will need to have the defense as a skill. We will get to it, I will highlight it, but definitely not at June. So no ego is a big one here. And it's hard because like for us, like many of our students, like even like like for me and like for people who are coming from the different countries, for the girls in tech, like we always have to be competitive, and like we've been raised like this because we know that there will be no space for us if we will not show. But like when you got the job, then stop, that's it, like ego stop there, because at this point you don't need to prove anymore that you're the smartest person in the room. You need to show that you're curious, that you're respectful, that you're collaborative, like your good communication skills help you to ask questions for the clarity, explain your thinking, because thinking is important there, and work well with others. Again, like hear me out here, it's not about building the friendship here, it's the to get like the work done. Friendship is like the second part, that is like the benefit for you, but the employers will not look at that. So um briefly like touching on right on this stage the hard skills. Let's go for software engineers, it's for junior roles, it's already a solid programming fundamentals, familiarity with like the frameworks, languages used by the company. So you may have like 15 languages right over there, but when you applied, you already know what the company working on. I always recommend obviously to put all of you like Python, Java, like at the beginning, because this is like especially Python, it's a universal language. But when you got on the board, look what is company using, and if you're having the gaps, jump right away and like improve what you need to improve. Version control, and then like ability again to work with existing code. Junes are not changing the code, no, you're working with the code. For cloud is expected to understand very well cloud concepts, basic infrastructure, deployments, how system connects, AI roles, applying existing tools and models, using data preparation, working within like ethical and responsible guidance. When you're having like the job already, this will be very very important for you. Also, not inventing the new algorithms, it's not AI jobs, like even you are expected to code, don't leave it to coders. For IT, cyber, it's a very good focus on troubleshooting, operating system, networking, security fundamentals, like following the protocol without like anyone like need to tell you something. DAs, like juniors, like comfortable, very comfortable working with any data sets, SQL, Power BI, spreadsheets, basic visualization tools, and explaining your insights clearly. So that's a big one. You very often can look at the data, like work with it, or like go with it. So working with data, it's not really right now because lots of things AI can do for you. Right now, you need to explain it very well. So if your communication skills are not very well there, again, like use AI tools, practice with your professors, or just like ask even AI, like explain to me like why this works XYZ and try to learn it. Because I was sitting on some of the interviews and I saw how the employers were asking how to explain like your logics, like how did you do this project, and students were failing there because AI done the job and they cannot explain anything. So across all of these roles, the junior level is about like that consistency, learning, and reliability, like trust. Juniors are actually those people who will do that job. So remember, that's the hardest role for all of you. And it's realistically is because you will be like working like you will feel like you do everything and you will really do because like everyone else has like different levels. And we can go to the mid level. So next slide.
Awesome. I do have one question in the chat. It had to do with vibe coding. So how do we
No,
know?
no, no, no
Not
questions.
yet? Okay,
I want to cover everything because I feel like this is like
got it.
super important. And like, yeah, for that one, let's get back to it
Okay.
if we will have time.
Sounds good.
Because I feel like it's just like that's where like we're breaking the bridge from the students and that's how they're failing and I want them like today to see the picture. So the middle level, this is where like your independence truly begins. Like remember June, no independence. Mid, it's already where you can be independent. And that's why like when sometimes you have like couple years of internships, and I really have like examples from our MDC students, both AI and software engineering and even data analytics and actually cloud, who had a couple years of internship experience and they move on to later to the mid position right away because of these 2 years they were able to get everything that is expected on the mid level. And at this mid level, you're no longer working under constant supervision. You understand on your own how system works, how processes are structured, and how the collaboration happening in between teams. So it's not only one unit, not only yours, but like teams. And your voice, your explanation, your articulation will become differently after these like couple years of the internship. So don't feel frustrated like if you cannot get the job and you're just like getting one internship after another internship because it can sab you a year of June. As long as you know what you will be expected at the mid level and you can communicate it during the interview. So at the mid level, you can fully own parts of the projects. So you're no longer just contributing to one big, but you're responsible already for part of it. So that means that you're managing your time, your responsibility, your deliverables with much more autonomy and you already trusted. You don't need to prove anything any longer. You trusted that you can plan your work, prioritize your task, like deliver result without like someone like the senior will check in on you and say, can I help you? Do you need help? No, this is already a huge shift. And when you will articulate this during the interview. Like this is something you can speak about it. In terms of the hard skills, the expectations, like they're deep in here because employers expect much stronger and confident, like understanding of your professional field. So it's no longer just the skill, it's no longer just the like fundamentals, but you already like expected to understand like the field and what is like your company doing, and usually this level aligns with completed bachelor degree. However, we do have examples who work like, for example, in Royal Caribbean or just like where like I have like another one like for consulting company who've got the jobs being close enough to bachelor degree but had couple years of the internships or like a working experience in the related field. Very often, this stage also comes after 4 or 5 years of combined education and experience. So, good example, yes, but also the normality is the bachelor and 4 or 5 years of experience. And some people are start considering their masters specifically on this stage, not because it's always required, but because they're thinking like more strategically about long-term growth. And usually at this point, you already can use the educational benefits in your company. And with these educational benefits, your masters will be either partially or fully paid. So think always smart in terms of like what decisions you're making, right? And what really defines the mid-level is your ability to deliver these results independently because you're no longer will be evaluated on just the efforts like, oh, I've done this. You are evaluated on the outcomes of the entire project, right? Like you're not responsible for your the whole project, but you're responsible for your parts. So the questions you want to think is like, can you take responsibility for a part of the project, a task or features, and bring it independently to completion? Can you manage complexity without like constant guidance or like just like even like calling someone out? How do I do this? How do we usually do that? Can you recognize the risks for your parts, not for the entire project, and address them on the early on or avoid them? So when you're thinking to answer those questions, have the examples because this will help you to articulate or even like help you just to explain, oh, what did I do? What is the real task I've done to make me think that I'm good at that? Soft skills actually start evolving at this stage. So, mid-level professionals are usually expected to communicate very confidently already across the teams, means like working not only with the people in your immediate role or like your direct supervisor, but also like the stakeholders, different managers, other departments. Time management becoming crucial. You are juggling multiple responsibilities, so it's going to be different parts of the different projects. Sometimes just like a different parts. You have deadlines, you have priorities, you need to manage them very well. So if time management is not your best friend, start making the schedules for yourself because if you're a procrastinator, you don't know how to complete the work, you're not going to learn it when you just going to get the job. You will struggle a lot, but if you will just like create a schedule for the next like semester and like follow it through with the discipline, you can add excellent time management to your skills in the summer. Collaborations also changes here. You're not no longer just participating. You are actively shaping how work gets done with others, not by others. At this stage, with others, and it's super important. So you do need to understand very well frameworks and tools like Scrum, Agile workflows, Jira, or whatever system your company uses. It's no longer just nice to know, but they are a very big part of your daily work. It's like a project management tool, and for our like all tech and business, it's important. The good thing, you don't need to go and get the certification is in this. You can just do a LinkedIn Learning or Coursera, whatever like will be the best for you. Because this is something like good to add to your resume. But also it will help you to understand why certain things done one or another way at your company. Uh, and Also the expectation at mid-level, it's around the initiatives because that's actually the level where your initiative truly matters. You're no longer expected only to respond to tasks that assigned to you. You actually expected, finally, you're expected to be proactive. You are identifying problems, suggesting improvements, taking actions when something like can be done better. So you're not just showing the problem, but you're coming with the solution. And again, like it's not on the level when we're like talking about the course and direction of the company. It's about like the unit, it's about the project, it's about like the structure that you're like working on at the moment. And this is actually the first level when people start shaping their professional identity. They begin to understand not only what they do, but how they can add value and where they want to grow. So the mid-level, if like to just summarize everything, it's the level where you either accelerate or you stop, depending on how well this independence and responsibility are handled by you, obviously. Let's go to the next slide. I want to be respectful to the time. So, senior stage. And at this stage, people start coming to you not just because you know how to do things, but because you also understand why things are done certain way in this company. You see the bigger picture and you can communicate to your June colleagues. You understand like that sometimes processes may look inefficient or unnecessary at the first, but they exist for the reason, and that's what you're going to be like explaining to your colleagues. Seniors usually think several steps ahead. They like anticipate already the dependencies, the long-term impact. So it's not only about the immediate results or tasks. And at this point, you're already a natural like point of guidance. Uh, you are expected. If you're in senior, you don't need to treat if Junes or mids are coming for you. Like it's not buzzard. You already need to like understand that this is part of your role. When people are coming to you for advice, clarification, support, you help them to understand not only what they do, but how to think about these problems, right? So like when you're adding something on your resume and you know that you're shooting for like the senior role, you do need to have this experience. Even like if it was not formal before, you could just like say, I was teaching, I was mentoring, I was helping to interns, to my like other colleagues. Don't think that you will get the senior role if you don't have that. That is important. In term of the hard skills, it's already expert level knowledge. So usually this stage very often aligns with masters or who is pursuing the masters, because even like your research need to be already way deeper. Your judgment needs to be on the different level, and the soft skills also expand a lot here. You do need to communicate with multiple stakeholders. starting with interns and June colleagues to actually a leadership of the company. It's completely different language, it's completely different deliverables, and you already participating like breaking things down to June levels, but then like you are part of the decision making, thinking strategically, clearly articulating like your ideas. And this is the stage, which is like we started before, where you can explain, but also defend your ideas and your solutions. And at this stage, those ideas and solutions and everything like will be challenged. You need to expect that. So that is why like skipping any of the stages is just going to put you in the very, very weak position as the senior professional, because you may know the right answer because you're super smart, but you will not have enough skin to defend what you think is right. And this only comes with experience. So this is the level where influence begin to matter more than execution, and you're no longer focused on only just doing things well, but you're shaping direction, you're setting the standards, you're influencing how work is done. And again, it's not about like being just like it's a right standard for everyone, and you need to stand for this. Can we go to the next slide? So, and let's talk now briefly about the leads, heads, and managerial roles, because this stage very something very important that gets added to your career responsibility for people. And so this is something I want to say and have it like very clearly. Being an excellent senior does not automatically mean being a great leader. Expertise in the field and people management are completely two different skill sets, and they require a different strengths and like different mindsets, completely different types of work. But the good news, you can grow in both, and some professionals strive as leaders when others grow as a strong individual contributors. Both paths are valid, respected, needed. You will make money at both. You just need to understand that leadership is not the next mandatory step. It's your choice. And it depends on you, because all of us are very, very different. And this is like where it comes understanding yourself, understanding what you're great and because like managing people, it's extremely difficult task, and for some people it's going to be a natural and pleasant. For another people it's going to be like way better to work as the professional, grow as a professional, grow in the seniority, become a subject matter, become an expert, an advisor in consulting, and you will be just like explore all of those beautiful opportunities rather than just manage everyday's problems of the department and people who work with the department. Um, Another thing that now when people hear the titles like lead, head, managers, they often immediately think that you will have 5, 10, 20 people reporting directly to them. In reality, it's not always start. And like right now, many companies are moving into the horizontal structures. So very often you can see the leadership managerial role begins with the project responsibility. You may lead the project where multiple teams, departments are involved. You may not officially manage people, maybe not yet, maybe not ever, because it depends on the company and their culture, but you are will be responsible for the project, for coordination, alignment, timelines, outcomes. Like you will have help from the different department, different units, maybe even like outside agencies. But you already lead it. Even no one formally reports to you. So at this level, the hard skills shift again, and soft skills as well. So you're expected to have a deeper understanding of the process, not just like your own work, but how team operates in the system. You understand the workflows, the dependencies, the risks, how decisions are affecting one unit or another unit or the company as the whole, and also delegation becoming crucial. You very often for early specialists, like you know how to do everything perfectly, but without delegation at this stage, you're never going to be succeed because you're going to be judged by unit, not only, or by project, not only by you. So it's no longer about doing yourself, it's about assigning the right work to the right people, trusting them. And again, like your success measured like already by the result that the team produces. If you've done all of the work and the team didn't do anything, you're a bad leader, and that's people will see it. Um, so delivering the results through others, it's a major shift, and one of the hardest for the new leaders. Soft skills becoming more central at this level because it requires lots of strong communication, conflict management, because conflicts in the teams like here and there, coaching, ability to give clear, constructive feedback. You're now like basically involved in the talent development, helping others to grow, improve, succeed, and the way that you think works for just you not necessarily works for like mentoring others. So you sort of need to step aside and like start listening and understand how is your teammate or what environment he needs to grow better. This level requires a high degree of emotional intelligence, and you're consistently balancing the outcomes with the project, with human dynamics, and it's extremely difficult. You're working with different personalities, motivations, pressures, emotion, and including your own. So that's a big one. Start with yourself as always. Um, so what most matters the most is understanding what this level truly required before stepping into it, right? So after the mid and senior, you really need to think very well which way I want to go. Do I want to manage people or do I want to become like the professional in my field? Can we go to the next slide? So it's our actually almost final. We're good on time. So now let's briefly talk about the executive C-level leadership stage. This is the top management of the company. At this level, the focus shifts completely, like almost entirely from individual roles or teams to organization as a whole. Sorry, guys, I need a second. Um, so the executive is usually responsible for the company strategy, their culture, the long-term directions, and risk management. The decisions level, like they do not just affect like one project or like a quarter. They actually shape the organization for the time frame they've been trusted or for years. And basically at this stage, what they do is thinking, because thinking becomes like highly strategic, systematics. They analyze the market, anticipate the changes, taking the risk, working on the decisions like under uncertainty. They're building strong teams, and it's one of their central responsibilities. They set the tone for cultures, for values, and not through the statements but through the decisions and priorities and behavior, because if they will not set it right way, the department's units will never work. So that's super important. And that's why sometimes we may see, oh, why these people are saying one thing and like it's doesn't really work in the company because probably something there is broken. But if you're in intern or June, it's not your job to fix it. You just need to grow with your time to get the trust, to get the years of experience, to get the skin, um, to be able to defend your ideas and like think systematically. And in terms of the preparation, if you ever want to go that way, this is usually a master's degree, executive MBA, doctoral degree, because you do need to be able to do way deeper research. You need to have like a combination of many years of experience, like many, it depends on the individual. Right now, like everything is shifting, but like at least closer to 10. More importantly, like you do need to have the perspective, strong judgment, and ability to balance your vision with the responsibilities. That probably will be my main point here. And we can move to our last slide. So, and we're gonna get back to the beginning. I want to close today, like to give you time and space to think for a moment and reflect, because what you just seen is a very factual like structure of how career development usually works. Not perfectly, no identically like for everyone, but it's very realistically that what is documented, that what we have, if you will ever like look at the research, at the job market data, that's what you will see. Probably in the more complicated words. But my hope is that the structure will help you to kind of like remove unnecessary expectations and stop being so hard on yourself and like try to get somewhere where you're not supposed to be yet. Everyone has different story, different starting points, and this is important on the different starting points, different opportunities and different timing. And like this comparison to someone, it's only disconnect you from your own past and like delaying something that can happen sooner. Instead, I want you like kind of like to start focusing inward, paying attention to where are you right now realistically. There is no bad space. Understand your current level and then maybe write a draft of your career development, professional development plan. And if you decide that you would like to talk or go deeper, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Here is my email, my LinkedIn. If we need, I can drop my availability link. I know that I'm like probably fully booked until February. But still you can book an appointment. One thing I want to be very transparent, like in terms of working with me, please come prepared. I deeply value everyone's time, including my own, and I want like our conversation to be very intentional, focused, productive, that will truly support your growth because I don't like the conversation talking about talking. Like, you don't need me, don't waste my time, don't waste your own time for that. If you schedule the appointment, and I understand it's going to be like a couple weeks from now, circumstances changes, just let me know and we can reschedule. Let someone else take your spot. That's just going to be like a simple respect for you, for your classmates, for me. Um, but that's what I wanted to go over today. And if we have like couple questions, let's say not related to career development, because I really want you to think about it, but like a simple questions that I can clarify, I am happy to do so. So,
Thank you, Juliet. I don't know. I think we had something. in the chat earlier. There was two questions that I saw. One had to do with accounting. What about accounting with technology, being that AI is replacing some people? I'm not sure what point of the presentation we were at when that question was posted, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Would not say that nothing really like replacing people. It's just adjustment. Adjustment for all of us to every single career. I don't know any careers besides like you're just like working only like with your hands or something. But even with that, it's already started giving like your different ideas. You think differently, you research differently. We
Oh
all
no,
like
bro, I can't. Bro, you're gonna be like, no, I can't.
Thanks. Yeah, so like don't take it as a replacement. It's just like a different job. Yes, you may need to readjust some skills, learn new skills, but it's always will be like this. We if we
Mhm.
want to grow, we need to learn new things.
Cool, thank you. And we had a question about vibe coding. I'm not sure exactly what the question is. Oh, I remember the question. It was from your knowledge, do you have any insights on how employers view that? Yeah.
Yeah, not cool. If you're talking about like AI or software engineering, not cool at all. This is the area for startups. And I actually was doing some research and I was talking to our small businesses, right? Because startups and small business, when we were doing the differentiation, the startup, it could be like couple people only. So small business, it's already company operates. They have like up to 50 employees, I'm sorry, and that's where the work happening. So even for small businesses, vibe coding, no, hard no. You do need to code, you need to work with the code because usually this company already have clients and the clients it could be like Royal Caribbean, it could be like AT&T, it could be someone else, and they have their own code that they will hire you as a consultant, or if the company like who is the independent contractor who will work with that. So white coding will be not cool. If you will decide that you want to be entrepreneur or like work with like startups, helps them to build something first, that's your area to grow. This is where you can use it because then like you need to make things fast, like break, like do the prototypes. Let's say maybe it can be in the bigger company only at the level when they're using Scrum, because for Scrum it's a project management like time frame, right? For them, they won't deliver the results pretty quick. So you can use vibe coding to create the prototypes, but it's just like 1% of your job. Then you will need, like, if you will be approved, then you will need to create or work with the code that is existing in the company or like the programming language that they will use.
Awesome, thanks. So if we haven't had the chance or opportunity to do internships and we graduate within a year, do you have any suggestions on what we can do?
Get the internship.
Keep
Get the
going.
internship, get the project as soon as possible, like just because you will be one in a billion. Even like with two internships, you're one in a billion. And the technology, what is cool about it, you don't need like to have a super cool like FIU, UM or whatever, like diploma. We already proved it like by the data, like many of our graduates are working in the very well-respected companies. But you do need the experience. You will feel like a foreigner going even to the interview for a real position, not having a couple projects and internship. And like if you follow us, like as the not MTC works, but like it's a Miami Tech works, it's whole in tech department for the last couple semesters, we were working on work-based learning, Epic Innovative Challenge. So because we were like kind of like seeing if this can be like in the replacement of the internship, and no, it's not the replacement of the internship, but it's actually breaking the door, like opening the door to the internship. because it's just like as simple as this. You do need at least one internship. What is good, because we will have spring internships very soon. We will do some announcements. We will have like another epic starting in March. We will have internship with the support of Blackstone in the summer. Stay tuned. Soon you will hear like from Idea Center from me. We will like advertise it. Um, Apply to this, but you do need relevant experience. If you're in the really, really bad situation, and I had those type of situations, like you can just like couple hours a day, like, or maybe like 2 days, you can just volunteer. But you need to get like to understand how to apply your knowledge, because what you think is in your head, like, and what you will see in the reality, it's completely different. But without the knowledge, without the fundamentals, without like understanding the frameworks, you will not be able to survive in the work environment. So it's like in tech, it's equally important, both education and experience. You cannot go with one with another. Like I feel like, to be honest, it's for each field, but in tech we can see it a little bit like stronger.
Very cool. So there's a couple more questions. Any specific recommendations on what to do when looking for a job that's related to IST, or other tech?
Help desk, lots of jobs right over there. Show up on the interviews, have your answers prepared. There is a certain set of the questions that you most likely will get like during like your first interview. We were doing with Sauda many sessions with Natasha, like interview prep. That's your first interview. Apply for the right positions. That's the same. Like don't jump into like the levels that you're not ready. And I'm pretty sure if you're reading carefully the job description, you can identify that like you're not just meeting the requirements.
Yeah,
um,
that's great advice. Are there any programs or companies that have cohort trainings to train you for a role? There was a company once called M3 that would train you after graduation for 8 weeks, and then you interview with the company that's looking to hire, like Chase. This is specific for like software engineering.
Yes, there are companies like this, but no longer for software engineering. It's more like a managerial roles in the very specific field. What I recently saw, it's for example, it was like the patient care, or like in the medical field a lot, when they will actually train you. And it's again like it's not necessarily that you need to be a doctor or nurse. It's like someone who will be in between this. It's a coordinator of the processes. They will hire you, fully pay you for the training, and then you will get on the job. Unfortunately, I did not see a lot right now in the tech field. We were working on it. We were working like with the local agencies, and it's we're working right now towards apprenticeship. That what is close enough to say to this question, but unfortunately, and I want to be very honest with you, because I don't want you to look for something that doesn't exist, and I monitor it very closely. I hope we soon will be able to have some sort of apprenticeship close enough. What you can do, and Sauda, help me because my brain doesn't operate very well. This what you can use instead, there is the software, not software, the site that we were working with, we were like sharing with the students. Oh my God, maybe some of the students or someone can help me, where like different companies will post like their courses, and you can just like learn and complete the courses. Natasha, you know what I'm talking about. I cannot remember the company. Like who is
Well,
this?
For
Forge, they're
us,
putting
Or
Forge in the
yes,
chat.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, that one. That's gonna be probably one of the closest. Big on. the expectations for the skills and the projects and the work that you will be doing. So if you want to send them the link, it's free. There is different companies, there is different projects. Go, and if you don't have, like, if you have zero projects, nothing, complete like forage those like courses, and add them to your resume. It's better than nothing, and they're good.
Yeah, no, Forage is actually really, really good. Thanks for bringing that one up, and I'll send it out in the follow-up email for sure. We do have a few more, and I think we have a little bit of time. Do you know of any resources for learning code that stands out to employers?
They have couple of the like Coursera, Python, like a strong Python 1, Python 2, Python 3, but it's like from my experience, it's like honestly your own personal preference, because if I can give you those courses, but like there's tons of those free resources, like it's a Harvard free learning, MIT free learning, like Georgia Tech free learning. If you will understand like someone from those resources better than from Coursera, Python 3 with data structures, it's just better to go and follow, because like we're all different. Someone will like someone's else voice speed and the way we're explaining. And code, like to understand code very well, you do need to understand math. So if you want to get it better, go get like calculus 1. If you don't want to do it at MDC, just do it on your own free course, discrete mathematics, because if you understand that basics, you can code in anything, because it basically applies to, and then like just get like Java, Python, JavaScript, like whatever like you want to put on the top of it. Okay, I'm studying cybersecurity courses. I'm thinking about going to MDC Works office to look for the internship. I'd like to know if there is any requirements I should be aware of. No, you don't go to MDC Works just to look for the internship. For the internship, you start with yourself. You look at the handshake, you read the emails, because especially right now, as I mentioned, the Idea Center is leading the Blackstone internships, right? So of course we all of us aware of this, and we will point you the right directions, but it's not necessarily one unit. If it's going to be a work-based learning, pay attention to emails, because like we're recruiting, I'm sending lots of emails with the internships like that are available. If I said apply directly on the company side, go ahead and apply directly on the company side, because sometimes employers going to be asking me for the resume. Sometimes they have a very strong HR department, and they want everything to like follow their own flow. So what you like, obviously, if you will come to the department, have your resume, at least like a basic resume, because we can help you to make it like super pretty, but like we need to know who you are, what you've done, what courses you take, because if you will come like with like nothing, it's going to be like really difficult. We will still need to get this information. So it doesn't need to be perfect, but at least like to get the idea who you are professionally, what are you looking for, understand your strong sides, your fundamentals classes that you already took, and then we can direct you, right? Like we can help you like to see how to look for the internships through LinkedIn. You can look at your emails with the ideas, the handshake, idea center when it's going to be like ready and posted. Uh, that's about it. But be open for all of the opportunities. Don't never limit yourself. Never.
I love that. What's a common mindset change you would like to see more students see in our individual academic or professional paths?
Active listening, observation, and it's hard, but try to think how employers are thinking, like, because we all want to show the best of us, but not that's not necessarily that it's good for the employers. If you want to find like if your outcome is to find the job, remember that they're not looking for like the high achievers or like someone who knows everything. They're looking for a person who will work well with the existing team, who can deliver the results. Results are so important. It's about like not the perfection of the project. It's about always accomplishing of the project. Well, presentational skills, so you can. uh, There will be problems everywhere. Like there is like nothing going to be perfect. But if you can articulate the good stuff, what did you learn? What did you complete? It's not the positive thinking. No, it's just like see the work that's been done and understand like there is like no grass is no greener at the neighbor. Like no. Um that's probably like and like know how to articulate all of it. And if you like don't get upset or like it's not even about the getting upset. The thing is like when you're getting upset and sharing it with me, I actually like it. I don't like when you got upset about like a small thing like oh company didn't pick me and what, who cares, the next one will pick you. Like move on, but come and share it. Like it's for me frustrating when I see like that there are many talented students and something like this happen and they didn't get a job and they give up and they're like leaving all of this internally longer than they need. Like if you sit in this like for a couple days a week, it's okay, move on. But if you don't, come and seek for help, talk to someone because it's just a job, it's just the internship. Like move on, you have your own path, it's gonna be better.
Thank you for that. Are there any internships for monitoring under a business, for example, shadowing how one works with a certain position in a certain position?
So I want to do the shadowing. I want to do it like already for 2 years, and like because the shadowing, it's like it's an important part for me. Like it's the introduction to the internship to the, but unfortunately we didn't implement it yet. I hope we will implement it this year. At least like try no at the moment, no, because it's huge for the company. What we can do and what's been done, we've done a really good company tours that took for like 3-4 hours, and this is like a very basic introduction to the shadowing. I feel like if we will do another company tour and if like you will reach out to me almost immediately, let's say a couple days after that tour, don't wait like for a month or so, tell me like Juliet, I would like to shadow. I can reach back out to this employer and just like ask them to have you for a couple days or maybe a week to shadow, just to see like for a couple hours every day or whatever schedule you can dedicate, because that's a really good one. This is like super important. Someone will say yes, someone will say no. If one say no, it's okay, we'll move on and find someone else. But again, like this is about the timing. It's hard to just like, just go and ask like, oh, can I bring like completely like you don't know the student, you didn't interview them, and shadowing doesn't really require the interview. Uh, can we show them what company is working on? It's like a weird thing. But if we will do the tour, we will introduce you, you will show your interest, like, right, then we can say, okay, the student wants to become like a software engineer, he wants to shadow the department. Is that a possibility for a week? Or like we will set the time frame, we will do it. So let's make it happen. It's not just like one person, it's up to you. So if you would be interested, I'm happy to explore this opportunity.
That's super exciting. So we've got like three more in the chat, and I think we'll stop there. And then any follow-up, of course, I still have Juliet's contact on the screen. So what would you say would be a good way to knit together a student plan with a professional plan? I've noticed that there are gaps in skills and coursework required between a targeted job and academics.
So I remember before New Year, I was sending you the tracker to all of you, like everyone on the email. I'll share it here. I don't have like, I don't have this answer to this yet, but what we can start with is like to fulfill that tracker, at least like the first page. There is exactly the classes that you need to take, the goals that you want, and I'm pretty sure if you will go to your advisor with this tracker and plan, it's going to be super constructed and structured for them. They're happy to just sort of like align the classes that will help you better. We need to work on it. I agree with that. Let me share this again. But with everyone, let me just give me a second. Here we go. It's an Excel. You can look at everything, but like usually it's like the first tab where you can see like the skills, the goals, short-term goals. When we were talking about short-term goals, there I meant like maybe 2 years from now, long-term goals for you 7 years. Don't go into I want to become a president one day. It's good, but not as of now.
All right, thank you for that. That's awesome. And yes, guys, please do use the tracker. It's really great. Okay, so second to last question. Is there any internship job I could do before graduating MDC? Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you need to apply for it. You need to show up for the interviews. You need to, like, it depends on your major. If you're like software engineer, AI, it's not because we don't like someone. It's just like because at the moment we have like couple opportunities toward that, right? Like 2 years ago, we had a grant that supported like a lot, like cybersecurity. Like 2 years ago, we had like the grant that supported IT. So at the moment, we have like something that supports a little bit more software engineers. Um, but again, this is, of course, you could do, and like again, Idea Center will soon announce the Blackstone internship. It's just like you need to read the emails and apply. And again, like I will be sending the emails about them as well. Computer
Okay.
engineering, yeah, it's like it's close enough. You can, as a computer engineer, you will start as a software engineer. No one will let you to uh, break the computer and put it back together before you will at least like learn the concept of software engineering, how the system connected. So yeah, many of my computer engineering students started as internships with the software. Have the appointment with me. Let's talk about it, all of it.
Cool. Okay, final question. What about GovTech?
So for GovTech, the first thing you need to be eligible for the security clearance. No longer you can do security clearance on your own. The company needs to sponsor you. So for the GovTech, the companies that are hiring the students right now, it's Booz Allen Hamilton. Not at the moment, but in general, and Deloitte. That's two big one. Uh, you can like again, like I can talk to you about it, but like the first eligibility, they will see if you are a citizen. They will talk even on the job description, or they will just say security clearance eligible, because that's a must for them. They cannot hire you if you cannot meet this requirement, because they cannot just like it's not that they don't want to. Government will not let you to work on the projects.
Okay, cool. Well, that was extremely insightful. I just want to say thank you again, Juliet, so much for today's session. I think it was relatable to literally every single person in this room, including myself. Doesn't matter what field you're in. And then, of course, I do appreciate you diving a little bit deeper into the tech side of things. So yes, thank you so much again, Juliet, for your time, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. This was an amazing session. Again, one last time, Juliet's contact information is on the screen, so please do feel free to follow up with her, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.